I will call to order at 7:02 p.m. This is the Wednesday, March 9th, 2016 Finance Committee meeting. On the agenda for this evening, we have work on the 2017 budget. We're going to review the budget model, discuss the department requests, and we're going to have the discussions and conversations of how we want to approach next week's, the joint session with the Board of Selectmen in a couple of weeks. We'll discuss the non-union cost of living, non-union employees' cost of living, capital planning recommendations, and then the next steps. And we have a few other normal stuff on the agenda. So to start, I'm going to hand out, if anyone wants them, copies of the budget model.
Mary?
Printed a little larger than
Ooh,
normal.
right off the table for you.
Okay.
So is this the same as what I printed with grid
It
lines?
should be.
But updated?
Yeah, this one was updated before our last meeting.
Okay,
which
so
was
that's
hence
this
why I
one.
don't have any changes to it since
Okay.
then. It should have a date stamp in the top left of 2/15,
This one does as well.
2016.
Yep. Okay. So I don't need this anymore then.
All right. Is that the right file? Sorry. No, it's not. Sorry, we're the wrong file up.
I was gonna say, yeah, that says benefits. Oh, this is two-sided. Frank would be proud.
It didn't say then. Yeah, 517. No, sorry, it didn't save onto the flash drive, I'm sorry. All right, we'll work off the sheet for now.
Okay.
All right, sorry about that. Didn't check my thumb drive before I left. Okay, so what I'd like to do is, I'd like to just simply walk through each of the departments within the budget and have some discussions if we have any issues with their requests, any further questions, etc. Any objections to that?
No.
The open forum for format, so please feel free to just speak up if you have any questions. So on the moderator, there's no increase. I'm assuming everyone's okay with that. For the Board of Selectmen, there are non-union compensation study increases at the beginning balances for FY16. And then we have wage increases for the administrator, longevity, and a reduction in supplies.
What is the $7,000 stipend? $6,976 stipend.
That is the stipend for the assistant to the administrator for doing, I believe it's planning board or no, ZBA, zoning board of appeals.
It was a $12,000 stipend, not $7,000.
That's what was on the sheets.
I don't have my other folder, but regrettably, I remember the meeting too well. It was rather contentious. Do you remember the 12,000? And it's interesting.
Sorry,
because
it's just the BOS stipends. So it's just
Oh,
the ones
okay,
for the Board
okay,
of Selectmen
okay,
themselves,
okay.
sorry.
That's all right, good.
The secretary, it's in the secretary wages, the ZBA
The
stipend.
$12,000 stipend.
Yes,
I would like to go back to that at some point when we get to the other boards.
okay.
Okay, so, and, arguably, we should stop saying secretary since that's no longer a position.
That's what the line item is, hasn't been changed. And there's also a request for one-time expense for furniture replacement for the town administrator's office of $9,500. And in the submission with the budget, there was some details on that.
Yep.
So replace the TA desk. Current desk is purchased 15 years ago. Desk is missing several fixtures, 15 years of wear and tear. Replace the conference table and the 4 chairs in the town administrator's office. It's too large for the room, for one, which I will attest to. Replace the antiquated chairs with 4 new chairs. Replace 3 bookshelves with 2 credenzas. Replace the large credenza with the couch. And then replace the assistant to the town administrator's desk. Desk is at least 50 years old, missing fixtures and broken drawers. Significant wear and tear. It's not ergonomically efficient. Replace 2 large filing cabinets with two drawer lateral files. 2 large filing cabinets acquired from Devon's in 2011 with both broken fixtures. Do not hold regular size file folders. So the $9,500 that's being requested as a one-time is from WB Mason, is off the state bid list. Any concerns or questions about that?
It would have been nice to have the list in the packet, but it's off the state bid list, it's off the state bid list.
What list off the packet?
Well, the memo concludes with, if you'd like a copy, I'd give you a copy, but it would have been nice if they had just included it, then there wouldn't have been any questions, but being off the bid list, off the bid list. But there is no question in my mind that furniture is in need of replacement,
Oh, I agree.
sorely in need of replacement.
Yeah, and it's replacing a lot of equipment also.
Yep.
Benefits management.
Is that level funded, basically?
It has $500 increase to other charges, which is for the new employee training program.
Yep.
And the model we're looking at doesn't include any cost of living adjustments for the non-union employees at this time.
That position didn't get an increase during the study.
No, it did not. Reserve fund transfer, $150,000. The big question is, do we want to reduce that or keep that where it is? I think that given the way that we've been running, I think we can reduce it.
Do you have any idea how much we've spent so far this year?
I did not get a chance to email the town accountant for that.
I don't remember spending much.
So far, we've only had a handful. We had the fire truck repairs, and we had one for the police department. Actually, no, sorry, that was the end of last year.
Yeah.
One last night.
Yeah, there's two, couple coming.
You didn't get a copy of it?
No, I will get it though. Yeah, I have been warned about that one.
Yeah.
You want to take it down to 100?
Yeah, I think that's worthwhile. That's what I was thinking. We can check the trend spending before we
Make a final decision?
Yeah, because we still have the meeting with the Board of Selectmen. We can adjust that. Any other questions on reserve fund?
Nope.
Okay, on the town accountant, we have some wage increases for the assistant, longevity, college incentive. Professional services is increasing $1,000, which is due to the audit contract. Audit services and office supplies, a slight increase. And then there's 2 one-time expenses. One is for unused assistant accountant vacation time, which is $7,258. And then $2,700 to advertise for a replacement to the assistant position. So I don't have any further confirmation if the assistant town accountant is looking to retire. I think this came up in last cycle's discussion.
Great.
I think it's more definite this year.
Okay. We can get confirmation when we meet with the Board of Selectmen. And then the advertising for the assistant position, $2,700. I don't know what the going rate is, so not sure.
No idea. Or how broad the advertisement would be.
Yeah.
It's a union position.
Anything else on the town account?
No.
Okay. Computer support, the significant increases to the training line of $2,800. It's for training for town-wide users on Munis. And then there's also an increase to the software maintenance because Munis is increasing their support support service on the software.
You know, I guess we talk about this every year, but why is there a separate stipend white line item instead? It's in the contract, so why can't it just be thrown back into the?
I completely agree with you.
I know, so I thought I'd just bring it up,
That's
and
fine.
that's where it belongs. And to some extent, it probably shouldn't even be there.
Okay. Board of Assessors, few increases. They want to increase the assistant hours from 37 hours per week to 40. It's an impact of 3,368. Consulting services are going down 1,000. It's year 3 of the cyclical reinspection compliance. $1,475 increase to other charges, which is the CSC support fees. That's the software that they use. And that's all for their increases. So specifically, any concerns with increasing the hours for the secretary position, for the administration position?
No, they're elected, so I think arguably they probably have the right to increase it under the statute.
All right. Anything else on the Board of Assessors?
Nope.
Okay, moving on to the town treasurer. Treasurer just has a salary increase that is in the budget, but it is set by town meeting. Anything on the treasurer?
You know?
Okay. Tax collector has wage increases included. That's the only item for that one. And again, the salary for the tax collector is set at town meeting. And then the wage assistant, that's a union position.
Oh, never mind, I was gonna go back to treasurer, and I see the line item for assistant treasurer, but there's nothing in that line item, sorry, I was not following along very well.
It's okay. I do that all the time. Finance committee, we're at $500. I think we should keep it there. It's more than we need, but it gives us wiggle room for some of the other purchases that do pop up from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Parking tickets is level funded at 1,000. Town council is a $10,000 increase for services.
Any idea what the increase is needed for? I mean, there was a decrease last year.
That was an increase last year. It decreased from the initial request, but there was an increase. It went from 85,000 to 90,000 last year.
Well, there must have been a decrease at some point, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
Okay.
It
That's
was a while ago, though.
missed a year in between. But is there some reason that it needs to go up again? Any idea?
I think the biggest piece of that from the town administrator, well, the conversations we've had about that is property enforcement, particularly with the new zoning law. that went
Zoning
into-
enforcement officer
Zoning.
guy, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little more legal work on that front. Management support is level funded at $8,500. Tax title foreclosure is level funded at $8,000. Town clerk is level funded with the exception of wage increases. Town clerk salary is set at town meeting.
Those wage increases, I'm sorry for interrupting, those are all the steps, right? Nothing,
Steps and yeah.
not COLA, just steps.
Well, for the assistant, because it's a union position, it'd be whatever the contract increase is. But for the town clerk, I believe that is like just the COLA increase for the elected positions. I think they just put in a 2%. We'll discuss that. It's on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
No, wait till we get to that point. I just think it's
Right.
presumptuous to put something in the budget that
Oh, I
hasn't
know.
been discussed or
I know.
agreed to. So, just to be sure, that would be the elected positions, because along the treasurer, it says step increase, question mark, but it's actually a COLA increase.
It was a question because of, I didn't do the math on that one.
Yeah, it does seem a little,
And there wasn't a lot of detail on the submission.
well, it could be, because the tax
It's
collectors,
3%,
oh,
or 2.51.
okay, but that's COLA as opposed to a step, it's not a step. And same for the elected positions, the tax collector, the town clerk, just so I can mark them here. Okay.
See if I can find the treasurer's.
I just went through it too, and I didn't see it, so it's all right. You don't have to look. It's all right.
Yeah, there's no context with that.
Right.
But I questioned it because it is not a straight 2% based
See-
on the initial wage.
I wonder if the collector or clerk put it in hers. Unfortunately, these are all in the same order. I'll be. It's level funded on the submission, according to the memo. So,
Well, the submissions were not supposed to include any wage increases.
Right.
Other than known contracts.
right.
But not everyone followed that.
Yeah, there's nothing on the collector. 31,210. Well, I take that back. The collector's submission for the collector's salary, oh, wait a minute, is 38,146. So, yep, you separated it out. All right. 38,146 from prior year of 37,551. 541. Okay, you just made the separation, so she has it in her submission. And same for the clerk, it's just bundled in hers, separated in yours. So that's the distinction.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's all right. So where are we?
Management support,
No, we did that.
Oh,
That's level
sorry.
funded. We went through the clerk.
elections.
So elections, so there is a $1,000 stipend added for the assistant clerk, I think was part of the contract.
Yes.
And then other increases primarily due to the transition between new employees for the elections compared to the older, because there needs to be some overlap, and B, there's a little more training involved. Any concerns on that request? Town hall postage fund is level funded at 19,000. I think that's been level funded for years. Personnel board did request an increase to $500 from $100, which I feel is justified, having been on the board. Are you open? No? Okay.
Just moving page.
Information technology, so there is a step increase on the wage line. There are decreases in the website because the website was upgraded in FY16. So there's decreases in the website and the services. IT supplies is increasing by 1,000 for additional training for employees. And then the hardware, there was a one-time expense request of $12,000, which will be for a hardware and software upgrades and a copier for the Council on Aging and other various printers and monitors at Town Hall. Any concerns on the one-time expense?
Just a curiosity about the breakdown, I thought the plan for buying the huge machine was to network everybody so there weren't separate printers and monitors. Well, monitors probably, but not separate printers.
I think it depends on the office, because I know upstairs, I think they still need a local printer upstairs for some of the work that they do.
Okay.
I have talked to the town clerk, and she said that she actually uses this one all the time, even though they have their own in there. So it is definitely getting the use because it is networked.
And maybe the wiring not being able to get from one spot to the other too for the network.
Yeah, I think it also depends. Sometimes if you're printing something that's sensitive, you don't want to send it to a public printer, so you want to keep it local.
There are ways around that. We all have security passes in our office.
I don't know
so,
if we're if they're set up for secure printing here. Shush up. Okay. Any other concerns with information technology?
Nope.
Okay. Conservation Commission has just a $476 wage increase for the agent.
Is that a union position?
I believe it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Planning Board is still 0. Zoning Board of Appeals is still 0.
So
I
wanted to ask something about that.
Yeah.
Because I observed, I was looking for something from the Planning Board on the town website. And as I'm scrolling through the new website to become accustomed with it, Planning Board has their membership and their staff. So I said, So I went to a Planning Board meeting video, which was linked to their page, and they have a staff member that takes minutes at their meetings and participates in the discussion, checks the bills, and does various tasks, which immediately made me think, A, how is it being funded? Because there was no suggestion it was volunteer work. And B, why are we paying someone a $12,000 stipend if the Planning Board has hired somebody?
The $12,000 for the ZBA. So I'm not sure what the situation of the Planning Board is. I know that Mr. Callahan had reached out to me a couple of times trying to get some funding back for some kind of a staff. So I don't know what the situation is there.
Well, looking at this, there's nothing here.
Is
for
it
next
a
year.
member of the Planning Board?
It is not. It is a resident of the town.
It's actually our administrative assistant to the Board of Health.
There you go. So that I didn't know, but Planning Board does have at least a staff listed now. I don't know.
I forget where they said, I'm sorry, I can't remember where they said the money was coming from, and it was just till the end of this fiscal year. That's why you don't see anything here.
Okay.
Well, depends on what that money was for originally, obviously, but.
I forget.
So anyway, I wanted to bring that up. I gathered we didn't know about that either. So I don't take issue with the 12,000 being ZBA related. I believe, and we can certainly check the presentation in the memo, but I thought there was reference to administrative assistance for both boards since they had no staff. Either board had no staff, but I mean that's
No,
in the memo.
the stipend was specifically for the ZBA. All right, I'll follow up on that. Anything else on those two?
Excuse me.
Can I ask you a question while you're reviewing it rather than afterwards?
Sure.
Where is that new person in this? The new full-time person that they hired that started?
I would presume that's under economic development.
No, this is called administrative coordinator.
I know, I heard that at the meeting too, but I didn't finish the meeting.
I've been working way too much lately.
There is a new person hired, a woman to be an administrative,
Is that the land use
I'm not clear.
to cover building? Is it building, conscom,
Well, somebody that
planning?
sits there on the third floor so that somebody comes up, directs them where to go. But it's a union, or maybe it's a union position.
There was some discussion at the planning board meeting I was watching
Okay.
about it in general, but nothing specific. It was as if it was an after the fact, well, now we have this person who's going to help us with this and help us with that, but it was never articulated so that I understood it, and it sounded like it had just happened.
My guess is it's coming from the building inspection line item.
That or the economic development or someplace, but, you know.
My guess would be, well, yeah, my guess would be the building inspection, because we still have a lot of extra money there. And when the town administrator mentioned the land use, if it is that position, which is covering part of the land use that he put forward, it would be coming out of the building inspection. Because when you talked to me initially about that, towards the end of last calendar year, it was that there should be minimal budget impact, if any, because we still have all that money set aside for a full-time building inspector.
And it's union position, that I know.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's okay. So there's a new hire for what is the?
Called administrative coordinator.
Admin coordinator. Well, I guess we'll find it
All right.
when we get to that department in this budget,
Maybe.
or not. But there's also money in the economic development budget.
Yeah, there is
So-
right now.
It's
It would be
nothing
nice to know where it's coming from and going to.
Right. Okay.
about that.
All right. Urban development is level funded for now. Economic development is level funded primarily due to the open position.
Well, I don't know if you know, Scott, but Mary, do you know anything about any efforts to fill that position? Or is
It's
this?
advertised, that I know.
Okay.
Advertisements on the board.
Public buildings and property maintenance.
Sorry, skipping back to economic
Sure.
development. If this amount of 35,000 and change is approved for that position, the Board of Selectmen aren't going to be able to hire someone for more, as they've been wont to do.
Right.
We'll need to keep an eye on that.
Okay. You can do that.
Okay, but
Okay.
if they do, and or I call them on it at a meeting,
Discuss it here.
we won't
we'll
do a reserve
formulate
fund
collaborative
transfer over
effort.
my dead body.
Okay. Public buildings and property maintenance. So there's an increase on wages for the director and the custodian. And then,
Any idea how the director's
that's it.
salary is increasing?
that would have been included. I don't think he has stepped out.
So that would be a
That would be
step
like a
increase?
step and a
Okay.
COLA, possibly a COLA. Yeah, I will have to I'll get updated numbers from the town account.
Okay. And then we're on to the police department, right? Or the insurances.
Yeah, building insurance is a $10,796 increase.
Estimated or actual, do we know yet? It's probably still early for actual.
It is estimated, yeah. Police accident is estimated also a $12,070 increase. All right, police department.
No, communications committee,
All right, communications committee, $700 level funding.
but there isn't one.
That is now the,
Energy.
hmm?
Energy?
No, it's not energy. There's a
IT?
IT. Yeah, it's like a technology group that's actually using the funds for that.
Okay.
Well, can we label it what it really is then? I mean, these are, sound trivial,
I understand.
but if there's no communications committee, call it what it really is. And why wouldn't that go in the information technology budget as an expense item or something? Just thought.
All right, so police. So we've had several versions, and honestly, this does not reflect the latest version because I had a string of like 4 straight days where I had submissions from the police chief, and I really lost track of which one was the right one.
So he's updated this December 17th memo?
Yeah, but I have not had a chance to follow up with the town administrators of what the correct one is because he submitted something which was an adjustment. For example, he had submitted one which had the public information representative removed. And then there was another adjustment to it, but then he, I guess in the email string, there was pushback from the town administrator about the 4 positions he asked for, that those shouldn't have been included in the budget submission. So therefore, he sent another one that had that non-included. So my head started spinning, and I've just left it as is because I look at it as really the big question on the police are they're looking for 4 positions, 2 dispatchers, 2 police officers, and I think that's really for right now for this meeting. That's what we need to focus on. We'll have the final numbers when we go into the joint session with the Board of Selectmen, but it really comes down to those 4 positions and what everyone's feelings are for that.
Is there any reason the town administrator is not including all of us on his communications with respect to the budget as these start flurrying around? And
I honestly don't know.
I mean, you shouldn't have to weed through them and pass them on to us. If he were to copy all of us, I mean, we should all have the same information. So
I'll be honest,
contemporaneously.
it's a concern given the way that we started this budget process where the selectmen wanted to do their own budget, that we were going to be left off of communication. So yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know if it's intentional, but I'm not going to accuse them of anything.
No, but perhaps we could ask him if he would just start copying all of us in those communications so we all have it at the same time.
Yeah, the town accountant has been good at including us on.
I see hers, yep.
On communications, but yeah, I'm not sure if there are any from the town administrator that we may be missing. I'll follow up on that.
Okay. Appreciate it.
All right, so police positions. So we'll break it down to 2 dispatchers being requested. Let's just go around the table. What is everyone's thoughts on the dispatcher request?
I'll let Mary Ann start because mine's already out there, but
I'm fine with the dispatchers having the 2 additional positions.
Okay. Pauline?
certainly knowing the work that they go into and not being able to do other things when they're on a call.
Okay.
There was a 4.5-hour call the other day where the dispatcher had to be on the phone.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I think that they're well-deserved and definitely needed. So full support for the 2 dispatchers?
Yes, from my perspective.
Okay.
And then patrol officers.
Yeah, 2 patrol officers. Marianne?
Well, I've personally experienced where I've called and asked for police to be able to check something out for me, and they didn't have the resources to do it. So I'm not sure if 2 are needed, but certainly I feel that they don't have the resources that they should have to be able to respond to different things happening in the community at the same time, depending on the time of day.
Mm-hmm. Pauline?
They are, on occasion, the chief has called in now retired officers to fill in shifts. That 4.5-hour call a couple of days ago was for a woman who walked away from the hospital, an elderly geriatric patient. They had the supervisor, the 2 detectives, and the 2 patrol officers looking for her. They called in 3 surrounding towns and 2 canines for 4.5 hours, and she just appeared. They had the woman's husband as well. That took every resource. They had a couple firemen up there as well. Every resource away from the town. But they had to do what they had to do. My argument on that would be we should have had our own canine, because they might have taken an hour, but we'd had a dog. But that's a different issue as to this topic. When our fire department has to fill in or support our police department because we don't have the resources, that's not healthy for the town, but that doesn't happen so often. But they're down, the chief said, if I recall correctly, they've been down 2 officers for a number of years, almost 10 years, I think he said.
No, it's only one.
We have one on maternity leave, again. We just
Mhm.
received one back from the police academy, and there are 2 new officers, but he's still down 2.
Let me clarify so he's missing, there was one position that was cut a long time ago,
Right.
like 8, 9, 10 years
Around
ago.
10 years ago.
That hasn't been returned. The other one is the 111F position, which is on the books and funded. However, there is no
Not
physical
employed, right.
person covering that shift for that individual. My thought is, from what the town administrator has said, the 111F should be taken care of within this calendar year, sooner, hopefully, than later,
Free up one position.
which would bring in an additional resource. And so on the 2, I don't know if the 2 are sustainable, because when you look at the initial 1-year salary, I think the starting salary was around $45,000 or $47,000, but 5 years from now,
It
that
goes
goes
up
to
to 60.
$62,000,
Yeah.
$65,000. So it quickly becomes a question of sustainability. I'd like to see how the department does getting the 111F position back as an actual person, but also I don't want to straddle them, because I do think that there are some resource issues. I think the chief made a great presentation and discussion of everything that they could be doing and the strain that the department has. I would support looking at one of those positions for the police department, for the patrol officer. Perhaps, maybe not for the entire year, do like half a year, fund half a position, so the next, in calendar 2017, they could position. That's another way we could work around it if there are concerns about the cost. But I think I'm okay with putting forward one. It does also come down to a degree, the Board of Selectmen as the appointing authority and their feelings on that, to a degree. Because we're not going to fund something if they are absolutely 100% against hiring a position.
With respect to the conclusion of the 111F claim, that was supposed to have been concluded a couple of years ago when I was still on the selectmen, and there were efforts being made. Of course, we don't know why that didn't happen, but if it continues to go unresolved, I don't think we can afford to not fill the physical position waiting for the 111F to conclude. It may never conclude. It could go on indefinitely.
I don't want to talk about confidential information in open
Sure.
session. Okay, yeah. 'Cause I
Well,
don't
if we
even know
need to
how
have an executive
your
session,
point.
so
Yeah,
we
we could
know,
have
we should
executive
certainly
session, yeah.
plan for that.
Yeah, and we have had, we had an update, I think it was about a year ago, on
Yeah,
the situation.
we did. So maybe it's time we do it again, but I would still support 2, and it's personal with me because I listen to it all day long. So, it's not just the sustainability. I appreciate the financial end of it, but I've also been disappointed with some of the other financial moves the town has made in the last 6-8 months. And if we can afford to do some of those things, I think bringing safety personnel is a priority. And we may not, we may have another position that there might be an officer who chooses not to come back to work for other reasons. And
Okay. Mary?
Mr. Chairman, I can just state at one of the selectmen's meetings recently, they did say that that was before I guess it's the retirement board that you go to. And they expected, hopefully before the end of this calendar year, that it would be resolved.
Okay.
That was the.
So it's still
update they
looking at the
gave.
calendar year.
Yeah.
All right. Last conversation I had with the town administrator about that, he was hoping that before the fiscal year was out.
No, they did say calendar.
So, Mary Ann, what's your thoughts?
Find a tiebreaker in this.
No, I just want everyone to voice their opinion.
Yeah, I
And-
do think, I have concerns about sustainability down the road as their wages increase. But at the same time, to Pauline's point, we seem to be spending money on other things within the town that frankly, when I look at what's most important, I think the safety and security of our townspeople is probably one of the most important things that we should be making sure that we can provide to them. So I hold a high value to that.
Mhm.
Certainly in my situation, when I called them, it was a non-emergency call, but I definitely got the sense of the fact that resources were strained, that, you know, a welfare check or something along those lines could not easily be done, depending on the time of day. And that is a concern, you know. And it seems like there's only, how many officers on duty depending on the shift?
Two.
So if they get called out on a particular situation that requires 2 officers, there's nobody else, so what do? We call Groton? I mean, do we
Yeah,
have
there's
reciprocation?
mutual aid at that point.
But time
Travel time
is
and,
important, you know, I mean, it could be the difference of life and death depending on, not to seem dramatic, but
but depend on the
certain
circumstance.
circumstances.
The shooting on Markham Circle the other day that nobody anticipated happening. Woman was shot.
Well, it's
Your
not like
home.
these things are anticipated.
Well, no, I understand. But I mean,
We don't live in Chicago.
No, but I mean, we've had a number of, unfortunately, and you know, I'm not trying to be dramatic either, or instilling fear in people, but we've had 2 bomb scares in the last 60 days, where the bomb squad had to be called in. And our officers are at peril when that happens as well. Luckily, both of them were, I don't want to say duds, but you know, not live, whatever the term is. But not to mention when there's an issue at the courthouse, who responds? Not the state. It's our officers. They were up there the other day for an unruly patient. Not patient. What do you call them? Prisoner. They respond for unruly patients at the hospital.
Yeah.
So you know, we're not a small town like Groton or Shirley that, you know, cows get out on all the time. In fact, there haven't been any cows out lately.
That could be a very dangerous thing.
Absolutely, but that hasn't
Well,
happened in a long
yeah.
time. I think the cows have heard that Officer Wilson is no longer here, and they haven't been out looking for him because I think he was their favorite officer. But anyway, that's just my thought.
To err on the side of caution, I guess, you know, to have a wait and see approach, maybe get an update on 111F issue and then decide from there, but. I
Or
would-
let the town decide.
At least one person, I would think we would want, one position we'd want to fund at minimum.
Yeah, so the feedback at the last buy board, this was kind of the gray area, was the request for the 2 patrol officers. So I don't know if we were to, as a committee, request the funding for 2, if the appointing authority being the Board of Selectmen would follow through with that. And plus, I'd hate to put money on the budget.
That
That's
doesn't get used.
That's not going to get used.
Well, I'll give you that. Do we have any idea how much the police department might, for lack of a better term, turn back this year? Because they do historically turn back fairly sizable sums of money, which would alleviate the concern for the sustainability if they're going to be using. Let's see if I can
I
find
have it somewhere. It was in a packet that I handed out. The town accountant had put it together.
Would it be on that
I haven't cleaned
spreadsheet
up.
I can't read? Probably not.
One of those.
I would like the police
I guess the
chief
other
to do
question
that.
is, what is the anticipated growth of the town over the next 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10. Well, I mean, we're
We're built out.
almost
I
built
think.
out,
Yeah, we're
to
built
be
out.
honest.
Mhm.
So I don't think we're gonna see the kind of growth we've seen in the last 5 years.
I don't, he doesn't
So
have
that's,
it here, but
you
maybe
know,
we
from-
can get from Lisa
Being on this committee for 6, almost 7 years, you see what that growth number does for us, you know, when it comes to not just the Prop 2.5, but also that, you know, that fresh, all right, here's an extra $500,000 in the budget that we didn't have last year for revenue. That at some point is gonna start to reduce and probably get down to, you know, maybe $10,000 to $15,000 per year. So,
As we find ways to spend it.
yeah, I mean, yeah. We're not as stingy as we used to be, I'll give it that.
Is there a patrol car in this year's budget for the
There
police
is, yes.
department?
Yep. 37,000.
38,000,
38.
39. The reason I ask on the issue of the department budget, there's a potential alternate funding source for some of the police budget when the Compassionate Care Clinic came before the board for support of its opening. One of the components of that proffer to the town was the funding of the department and the funding of cruisers for the department because of the increased security needs that might be needed. The clinic has been open since November. I'm not saying that there's ever been any issues there, but you know, I don't know if November is a long enough time for them to be in a position to, you know, come forth with that proffer, but it's certainly worth exploring.
It wasn't in the presentation that he gave, so I would think that if there was something significant since November, even though it was only at the time, 2 months worth of data, I think that's something he would have brought up.
He, the chief?
The chief, yeah, sorry.
I can update you on
Sure, Mary, enlighten us.
that. When the gentleman came to the selectmen's meeting, he said due to the state not getting their approval done in time, they're doing it on a limited basis. So they're not into the baking part.
They're
or
not
any
into
of
the
that
full
yet.
business,
So
right?
he said anything that he promised, figure it's going to be, add another year to it.
Okay.
But it's something not to lose sight of. I'm not necessarily saying
Right.
now,
Yeah.
but come next budget season, it might be a whole
Yes,
different
yes.
situation. But that occurred to me the other day when I was thinking about this. And
Yeah, so if that's not fully operational and that's part of the concern, then
oh, sure.
is it,
I'm not saying we
yeah.
go knock on his door tomorrow, but
right, no, but,
it should not be lost sight of. I mean,
right.
we need to keep it.
yeah, I mean, on the 2 patrol positions, I'd hate to overcommit with both positions, to be honest. I mean, that's my thoughts.
Well, if there was and 1 year there was over $160,000 not spent.
Yeah, I
the
think
budget.
last year was over $100,000, thinking back. Because I was actually surprised when the town accountant gave the data that they had turned that much back.
So maybe we should look at what is not being spent this year, considering there's only 2 more months of the year, 3 more months of the year. Not encouraging it to be spent so it's not turned back, but if that covers one of the 2 positions and we're willing to fund one, then there's the funding for the other, without any impact going forward, because that money's been in the budget for
And
years.
there's also the benefit cost with that position too. That's the other concern. Which
But that's
doesn't sit
already in the budget.
doesn't sit within the police budget. That sits on the benefits line item. And the benefits is based on current usage with anticipated, like just what the funded open positions are, like the economic
The
development.
officer may not take the town's health insurance.
Yeah, but you can't bet on that.
Right.
No, but, most of them have opted out.
Not really. Last time we got an update, there weren't a lot that had opted out.
There were several police officers who opted out when the first opportunity came. I'm not saying the town employees entirely, but a number of the police patrolmen did. Now, some of them may have already left, but
But I think regardless, you have to factor the positions when it comes with benefits because it's available to them, so they may take it.
Yeah, I agree.
Potentially.
It's conservative budgeting. Okay, so we
Not
don't,
always.
so we don't have an official position on the two options, which I'm okay with, since we still need to have discussions with the Board of Selectmen on that. Is everyone okay with that?
For now.
Okay. All right.
Have we done the fire department budget with the fire chief? We have, right?
Yeah, we met with Kevin. All right, so fire department, let's see. So contract increases for salary and overtime. Adjustment for the 5-year average on vacation and sick time is the driver on the overtime line item. Call overtime is increased because there's more personnel living in town, so therefore more people are showing up to calls.
There's no overtime on the police budget, unless I missed it.
I believe it is. Yeah, second line item. He just level funded it from his initial
I'm sorry, yeah, there it is, okay.
presentation.
Sorry. So there's $212,000 that,
So, sorry, going back. So increase of $5,000 due to on services due to the age of the vehicles and also the Comcast internet rates are going up. And then there's a one-time expense for $5,000. They're looking for a trailer for the Kubota, and then a Class A uniform for a new hire.
Yep.
Any concerns with the one-time expense? No, that's okay. Any other concerns with the fire department budget? Chief Pedrazi went through it in detail
excuse me.
when he met with us on how he builds it up from the ground up. Anything else on fire department?
Nope.
Okay. Building inspection,
Maybe we should
Couple
review
of-
that budget with somebody who put it together, given the questions we have regarding
that was
the
submitted by,
administrative
the building
coordinator,
inspector.
which doesn't have an administrative coordinator position listed. Well, assist admin.
Yes. So so we have funded that budget for a full-time position. There's been talk of splitting that between the part-time and then getting an admin assistant.
Right.
So that's why I think, I know when I talked to the town administrator about the land use, it was a good portion of the salary for the land use administrator was going to come from this position because it's already funded. So
that land use position is this, presumably this administrative coordinator.
I'm assuming it's part of it, yes. So there is a increase to the wages.
Well, they're all union positions,
It's
so,
about 2%.
well, even the building commissioner is in the union.
Even as a part-timer? Okay.
Even as a department head.
Okay.
It's a $200 sounds trivial. There's a $200 increase to one line item, weights and
Weights and
measures, I think?
measures.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
all right. Let's probably his costs.
Yeah, it's scribble. I think I read that right. 5,200.
Yep.
91,501 total.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
There's no explanation for it, but it's
No.
$200. Although,
It's a 0.4% increase.
yeah, but it's not trending that high for the 4 years before. So, arguably, maybe it's a line to consider. Not the 200, the 5,000. It's never been more than 4122, at least since FY 13. 4 years. Just,
Could be new mandates coming down the pipeline. Anything else on building inspection? No. Barn inspector, $2,600, level funded. Stormwater is out.
yeah, that's zero, right? Stormwater
Yeah.
supplies, so that should be able to come off.
Emergency management, slight increase on the salary line. Animal control officer,
Is there any reason emergency management couldn't be coupled in with the fire department since that's where it's done? I mean, it'd be nice to be able to streamline this budget if we could. Just,
asked for that like 5 years ago.
I know, so why don't, I mean,
Let's bring it up at the selectmen's meeting then, please. So animal control officer has a slight increase on the wages line, $155. Tree warden. So he came before us back in December and discussed his budget for this year. So he has some significant increases for numerous things. One of them is for increased police details, and then also for additional services because there's a slew of trees around town that need to be cut down for insurance liability. Anything else on tree warden? No. DPW administration. So we haven't gotten an update on that because last we had talked.
so we can eliminate these school department lines too, right?
Yeah, well, they're all part of the schedule. Like on here, it's all part of the schedule when you look at the trend
Right.
that's built in.
So, with DPW, do we know if this line item for salary includes the job reclassification request?
I have no idea. I don't think it does since it's level funded.
Because it certainly shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't.
So what would be the mechanism for the salary increases if the Board of Selectmen, or whoever, Personnel Board and Board of Selectmen choose to do it? They'd have to go back to town meeting.
That was voted last night.
Did they approve it?
Grade 16, excuse me, 7. 10. He wasn't 14.
The superintendent was increased from a 14 to a what?
16. I believe it's a step 7,
He has a contract.
as does everybody.
Well, no, everybody doesn't, but
Well,
his contract didn't have a grade in it.
and the town engineer came up a grade. I think he was 11 and now he's at 12, and I don't remember the step. And the business manager is a 9, and I don't remember the step on that either.
Currently a 9?
No, Glenn,
Is a 9 now.
yes.
That shouldn't mean anything though, because her salary was higher than the step that she was placed at on the study.
She's, quote, stepped up, but now she's up a grade. And I don't remember the step, I'm sorry, I didn't bring all that with me.
No, it's all right. No, but I remember her, because she was actually making more than the step that she was on. So she wasn't actually stepped out. She was just given a salary
Well,
which was higher than where the study put her. So she would only get a COLA going forward.
Except they reclassed her.
Right, so now she'll get steps also.
Do we have any idea what the total cost of that impact is?
No idea.
she was redlined last fall at 63,684, and that was at a grade 8. She's now 9, but I don't remember.
All right, I'll try and follow up. DPW administration, one-time expense for a parking study. And I'll caution, I think I need to request the DPW for an update, because I know when we met with him, we had requested that some of these be looked at, reviewed, and reduced. Any issues with parking study? If you have an issue with it, say it.
I'm not sure I understand the need for it at this point.
Okay.
If Mart isn't going forward with the parking lot down at the rail trail until the land court issue between the MBTA and the property owner is resolved.
How many more parking studies do we need?
Well,
Yeah.
that's
And
That's fine,
15,000
too.
is
That's-
an insignificant amount of money.
Yeah.
you know, if we're looking for money to pay salaries, you know, we need to look for money to pay salaries.
Okay.
Or if we're going to pay salaries, we need to look for money to pay salaries, is probably the way I should say that.
$1,500 increase on utilities, $4,350 increase on building equipment and maintenance, which is new doors and building improvements at the building, the admin building.
No issues there. So are we gonna have another meeting with the DPW, or you're just gonna ask for a written update?
I'm just gonna ask for an update. Um, So the 4350, I don't know if that might become a one-time.
Oh, yeah, that could go over there, couldn't it?
Yeah, because I think it's the only year that they're gonna do the adjustment, the improvements.
That would make sense.
Anything else on the administration? We can hash out the $15,000 parking study when we meet with the Board of Selectmen. Highway DPW. So wage increase for for new contracts, it's assuming a 3% total cost.
Why would we budget it before the contract?
I don't know, Pauline, okay? It's what was submitted to me and what I was tying out to,
I'm
okay? I'm
not-
trying to do the best goddamn job I can.
Scott, I'm
All
not,
right, I have to work with what I get, which is not what was asked by the town administrator to be submitted. Wages weren't supposed to be included. But that's what I had to tie out to, so that's what I put in the model.
I'm not questioning what you're putting in the model, I'm questioning why we're being asked to consider something of an assumption when the proper process is the contract is negotiated, presented to town meeting for ratification, and then funded, not the other way around. And I'm not taking issue with you putting it in here, I understand that. I'm asking the we question in the overall scheme of things, and I will continue to ask that question, because we should not be budgeting backwards, and we should not be putting money in a budget to allow a negotiation to take place that town meeting doesn't even know about.
And honestly, I agree with you. I do.
Okay,
I'm just as frustrated because this is what we get handed every year.
I agree.
Is the assumption on the contracts, this is what's gonna happen, this is what we're gonna fund. And
So we take it out and say, no, that's not the way it's done.
last year, they were actually able to have memorandum of agreements before the budget was finalized, so we did have good numbers,
Last year was an anomaly in that regard.
probably.
But please, I'm not taking issue with what you are putting in this. The question is asked in the overall review of the budget, not you.
All right. Overtime is coming down based upon the 3-year average. On crosswalks, $6,400 for a one-time expense for LED sign system. I think he had said that's similar to the ones they have in Groton, as they press it and it lights up. Any concerns with that? I think they're needed in some of our
Absolutely.
crosswalks in town.
Absolutely.
And then the overall budget is only a small increase, including that 6,400 on the operating level. It's actually a decrease for the highway department. Anything else to vet out on the highway department?
No.
Okay. Stormwater management, we moved it down here. It's 144,000 because we dissolved the enterprise fund. So it's first year. It's an estimate. Any concerns on that? Snow removal. This is the one definitely we had requested some reductions in. So I will follow up on that.
We sure should have saved a lot of money this year on snow removal.
So I was actually talking to a woman at work who has a relative who works for the state DPW, or was it DOT, and does plowing, and he actually says he's made more money this year than he made last year.
Depends on where he lives, I suppose. If he lives on the Cape, that might be true.
Yeah, possibly. I didn't ask that question.
I mean, they didn't
Might
have
have
snow
been.
last year like we had, but boy, they sure have been hit this year.
Uh,
So with the fact that, well, I don't know, do we need to almost double the snow removal budget for next year?
no, that should actually come down primarily because we can deficit spend.
Right.
So that was when Mr. Wetzel was here, that was the conversation we had, that these numbers should come down because last year, which is included in his 3-year average, was such an anomaly.
I would suggest that would be the overtime and the services line items, both of them, $67,000.
Yep. On the street lighting, the reduction, $10,000 for the reduction in the net metering. DPW fuel is level funded. Equipment repair, again, there's an assumption for a contract and average costs, which are reducing repairs and maintenance and vehicle repair, but then increasing a few other line items. There's a $5,000 one-time request for a cat loader repair and maintenance. Any issues with that as a one-time expense?
There's an $8,000 allocation for FY16. They're reducing it by 2 this
I
year.
moved it out. Part of that is just because I moved it out to, it's
Okay.
reduced from last year overall.
Okay.
Or actually, no, sorry, it's a $3,000 increase from last year, but there's $5,000 specifically for the
For
cat
that-
repair.
Okay, gotcha. Losing track of which page I'm on when I turn.
Yeah, sorry, I should put page numbers on.
Sorry.
So then averages for supplies and public works supplies are going up on equipment repair. So that one seems relatively high on the request.
Well, there are a couple things in there that,
It's kind of an allocation, though. Vehicle repair is down too, but vehicle supplies are up. Repairs and maintenance are down, but public works supplies are up.
yeah, that is a huge increase. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong column. Never mind, take it back. Wrong column.
No, it's 14%, which includes the one-time expense. So it's about
I wonder what the difference
about an
between
8% increase.
I wonder what the difference between safety supplies and public works supplies is. Wouldn't they all have supplies?
Supply is a supply.
Yeah, well,
All right, so again, I'll request updated budget files from the administrator. Board of Health has a slight increase, $299 on salary. Other than that, it is level funded. Neshoba Board of Health, can't remember if this is the estimate or the actual numbers on the Board of Health. I think it's the actual one.
Should be the actual.
I think it is the actual, so disregard my TBD on the right.
Okay.
Disability Commission is level funded at 700. Council on Aging has a 2% wage increase, and everything else is level funded. Veterans Agent has a reduction of $350 on supplies, services, and miscellaneous. Veterans Benefits is actually a reduction from 168 to 125,000. It's been held high at 168 for a couple of years just because the Veterans Agent was concerned that there would be an influx, but he's not really, he didn't have that feel this year. Library. Let's talk library. All right, so the library has requested an increase of $63,000 on wages. And in that, okay. So in that is a new position at a salary of $31,200 for an assistant children's librarian. The children's librarian goes to 30 hours per week. And then the senior library assistant is moved up from the children's library. That's $39,000. So that's a replacement. The library assistant, senior library assistant, is a replacement of someone, but they're also looking for an assistant children's librarian for $31,200. On top of the director's salary, which is what, originally they came to us and said they were doing a reclassification, though they wanted nothing to do with the non-union classification study that was put forth by the personnel board. And my assumption when I heard that was this was going to be for all of the library employees, and from the data that they gave to us, it looks like it was only for the director position. So, what's everyone's thoughts?
I had one with respect to the library, and I didn't get a chance to look it up. But the trustees operate, as elected officials, presumably under a statute, which might be very similar to the Council on Aging, who can hire employees at will, and it might be worth looking at in terms of what the library trustees' authority is with respect to employees, and if they have the right to hire at will. They may need approval of town meeting for appropriation, so let them defend their request, but I don't know how we can force them into a compensation plan that they've never been in before. And I'm not saying we force them.
And that's
Yeah.
what they, that's kind of how it was explained to me when the personnel board asked about, is the library going to be included, is that it's that gray area. So, which is why, we didn't push back to have them included in the study.
I mean, there are a few elected positions that have that authority to hire.
Right.
And I suspect that
Right,
they're in
and
that
they do
group.
have that ability to hire, but, from our role as to whether we agree with that and whether we feel it's justified.
No,
At
I
this point, yeah,
agree there, so then they would have to defend it at town meeting.
correct.
That's what I say we let them do.
I agree with that.
Hmm?
I agree.
We could take no
having them-
position and let them defend it and see what happens.
Right.
I
Yep.
disagree. And here's my reason. Here's a couple of my reasons why. I disagree because, number one, there was there was not a lot of information forthcoming with the request. Like, we got the budget, which was, we didn't even get any of the details we normally get until they came to meet with us. The insinuation of having the reclassification was never specified, it was just for the director, which is, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, to be honest. The other thing that bothers me is that there is a new position, and with that new position and these increases, they did say, they never committed to
Additional hours.
additional hours.
Yeah.
And it's that non-commitment to the additional hours that is why I have a significant issue with it. And that's why I would, personally, I would reduce their request by the $31,200 position. I'm not saying that it's not needed, but looking at the request and the fact that how well is it serving the community? If it was, hey, we need this one position and we can stay open X amount of more hours, absolutely, I think, because I know that's the feedback I always get on the library, is that the hours are just not beneficial if you work full-time. There's very minimal times that you can use it.
But you would, sorry,
No, go ahead.
but you would support the increase to the director's compensation?
The library is a finicky thing because it has to have a certain percentage increase every year.
Right.
Per state mandate. Then within that, there's a certain percentage that has to be spent on periodicals. I don't want to, I guess I'm cautious to say I don't support the director position increase because I don't want it to seem like a personal thing, and it's not. But I'll be honest, I don't really agree with it. It's that whole, the problem I have with it is it's that whole gray area of kind of just coming forward and saying, all right, here's what we want. And it is a significant increase, and it's more, because that one position has, I think, a more significant impact on the town budget than just the director position increase. Because, it's 30 hours a week, so potential benefits with that. It is a new position, but the question would be, I guess from my perspective, is what are we getting in return? We didn't get that commitment on additional hours.
She did say that, Scott.
No, it was
We
we
can
may
look
stay
at-
open. It was like
She said
at
that she
the
would
end of the
look at it.
conversation, I think they were reading our body language about it. And I think that it was kind of this nugget that was thrown at us of, well, we may stay open additional hours. And that was like the exact tone of voice, it was very non-committal.
Then maybe it was a personal conversation I had with one of the trustees, because I know they want them open
Longer.
more again. I know they want.
But that's not what the presentation, like when they sat and met with us, I mean, that was three
So-
to 4 minutes before they left.
Not that night, because I don't think they were expecting the question, but if they commit to, just so I'm understanding, if they commit to open another day, we would then not have an issue with their salary or their salary line item?
From personally, no, because I think that's something that the townsfolk wants. I mean, it all comes down to what town meeting wants. And I guess for our job is, well, we want to present to town meeting, and I have a problem putting forward this $31,000 new position at the library if there is no commitment to additional hours.
Okay, so my question to you, asking your opinion, if there's a commitment to keeping the library open additional hours, whether that's one day or split between 2 days,
Yeah.
then your, and I'm not trying to personalize it, but your opposition to the new position goes away, or?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I understand your position clearly, and that's why I'm
Yeah.
asking you.
I guess I look at it as
Justifying the
way
need.
Exactly, justifying the need and the wants of the townsfolk. Seriously, the feedback I get on the library is that it's always been kind of an issue
It's-
with myself.
It's not
because,
convenient.
Yeah, it's not convenient if you happen to work full-time.
It used to be open a lot more, and budget cuts caused it not to be opened.
Right.
And
Around 2000.
and was
2001.
slowly but surely getting it back, but they could, I agree, they could be open more often. With respect to the director's position, again, I feel any department, especially an independent one like this, should justify its budget to town meeting. They rarely are asked to do that. and I think it should be more involved. But, and I'm not saying the library, but I'm saying in general. But I think, and this is just from my own perspective and not any discussions I've had with anyone, because I don't want to allude to anything I haven't done, but I think that's a direct reaction to the increases given to other department heads last year during town meeting and during the budget process, especially contracted employees. I mean, the library trustees could give the director a contract, and then, there's not much we can do about that. And I think that's a direct result, and I have no reason to believe that other than supposition. Although there were some comments made during our meeting with them about, the salary increases that went through and so on and so forth. And we're now getting reclassifications of people because they didn't get. And, sustainability becomes an issue across the board on salaries lately. We're
Yeah.
giving hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in increases over the course of a year, less than a year. And that's going to continue and continue, and they're going to continue to increase. And I think that's why that's happening. It's just my personal opinion.
Okay, and, like I said, that, I may not agree with that on the director's line item, but for me, it's that new position,
Okay.
because that one has the more significant impact.
I think the rest of it's pretty straightforward, and
Yeah, everything else is
some of it even
straightforward.
actually goes down.
Well, it's just reallocation of the budget to hit because I think it's the periodicals has to hit 19% of the
Mhm.
overall budget.
Yes. The operations went down a little bit. Supplies is level funded, and the 19% is 19%.
So what's everyone else's thoughts on what we want to recommend putting forth to town meeting?
I would prefer having the town vote on the salary increase.
So we want to leave it as an inclusion?
I think we could ask them whether they've decided or not decided to increase
can do
longer
that.
as well,
Extend their hours.
and avoid confrontation. I mean, if they've committed to that, as Mary has suggested might be the case, and we're okay with the position based on that,
I know people want them open longer on Saturday, they'd like them
Mhm.
open later one of the nights, and they'd like them open Monday again. Because they're closed now, they've been closed.
Yeah.
What, 2000,
Yeah. As long as we're getting something for a
Mhm.
significant
something for
budget
something, yeah,
increase
yeah.
that the town wants,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
3 pages of notes is going to be a lot of minutes to do.
All right, so we'll leave the library as is. I'll follow up I'll find someone on the board of trustees to follow up with. Parks Department, some wage increases within the budget. I hate two-sided printing. And that's all. Everything else is level funded for parks.
Was there a reclass on the Park Commission as well yesterday?
It was. It's up to a grade 11, I can't remember the step.
So that line item will have to be fixed.
Hare Shirley Football and Little League level funded at 4,000. We've talked about that over the years. Historical Commission is level funded, 750. Public Celebrations is level funded at 2,000. American Legion level funded at 600. 4th of July fireworks level funded at 10,000. Retirement of debt has an increase, which will change based upon the capital planning That's the first year debt. On the long-term interest is actually going down because we're paying off higher interest rates. Retirement pension is a 6% increase to 1,429,491. That is an actual number. Workers' compensation, $4,026 increase. That is, I believe, an estimate.
Yeah, I think it's early for any of the insurance stuff. It's usually not till
Yeah.
April.
Don't have it readily available. Unemployment compensation, level funded right now. I think that's going to change because the treasurer has a reserve fund transfer for FY16. What does that go out to?
I think it went
I
out
think
to
the
June.
payment's June, July, so that'll be done yet, so that should actually be okay. FICA Medicare, $19,000 increase to $100,000, that's based upon prior year actuals. And then general health insurance, estimated increase of $127,000 on the insurance. Decrease on the buyout, so we'll have to get updated numbers for that. I think that's usually an end of March, early April finalization.
The health insurance,
Yeah.
oh, that went down.
You have
You
to
get the group health insurance, they have, yeah.
this only has an estimate, so there's a new number.
Then this must have been when he submitted it, but then they have the meeting in mid-February. It did go down considerably,
Really?
yes.
That's that's counterintuitive to everything he
It's-
told
yeah,
us
well.
in his memo. Okay,
Well, his memo was before
yeah, all right,
the Neshoba Health meeting, so.
okay. So that's all the
So we need
operating
an
budget.
update from the health insurance. That would be from
Yeah,
Kevin.
Mhm.
That's right, it is voted in mid-February.
all right, and we have regional school district assessment. That actually has changed from what's on here. I tried looking for the email. It's like I think it's about a $50,000 increase, if that, because their health insurance went up. And Neshoba Tech is an actual, and then the op-ed and stabilization is just placeholders to allocate out the free cash that's in the revenue.
They have the same as the town, I believe, for health insurance, which,
Who,
But there's-
Neshoba or
no.
school?
School,
I thought they had Maya.
yeah, it went out, and then.
No, we have Minuteman though.
We have Minuteman, they have
Yeah,
Maya.
Maya.
But the regional school district has the money.
Maya, right.
As does the town of Shirley.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry,
it
I'm
went
sorry.
up
Yeah.
considerably.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a memo sent from the school board saying that they did have to include the costs in their increase from the original budget presentation because they couldn't find anywhere else to allocate funds from. So they weren't able to absorb the whole thing.
I'm going to look for new insurance.
All right, so follow-up items, we have, I will, number one, get a budget tie-out sheet from the town accountant. Follow up on the administrative coordinator, what's the funding source for this year? On the police positions, we're in full support of the dispatcher positions. On the patrol officers, we're kind of split. Pauline wants 2. I would like 1. Mary Ann's kind of in between. DPW administration, or DPW administrator, I'll follow up for updated budget files from him.
Well, if we could backtrack on the officer position,
Yep,
can we get an update on their 111F?
okay.
Because that would help.
And what was, well, we're gonna get, are we gonna get a complete Munis update from Lisa? On all the departments, so we know what?
Yeah, I'll make sure we're tying out. On the library, I'll reach out to one of the trustees about longer hours with their budget request. And then, yeah, the problem, I mean, honestly, part of the problem is I get so many emails in my town email. When I try playing catch up today on some of the items that I've gotten, and I couldn't find half the emails that I know I had because they're buried somewhere in my inbox. All right, so we discussed the department requests. Next item for discussion is non-union compensation cost of living. So we don't have anything officially from the personnel board. I did talk to someone, I think on the night of one of their meetings, and they said they were going to talk about that night. All I have is an email from Lieutenant Gill dated, it was like February 2nd or 3rd, early February, saying that they were going to look at it, but he didn't see any reason why they would do anything more than 2%, since that's what's being offered to the union positions. The interesting thing is, so when we talked last year about the COLA on the personnel board when I was sitting on it, the agreement was to look at the consumer price index and base it upon that. So last year the consumer price index, I believe, was 1.6 or 1.7, so we approved a 2% increase. Or was it 2%?
Yes.
Yeah, it was 2%. The consumer price index, which I took a very quick look, and I don't have the official printout, it was actually 0.1.
It was way low the other day.
So it's much lower.
So there arguably should not be a COLA.
That's my feeling too, especially plus where we did the non-union compensation and
And the reclassification.
the reclassifications that are going on.
I
So,
agree with that.
Absolutely.
okay.
So,
No.
Nothing. At least that will be our position.
Would be one thing if they weren't getting a raise otherwise this year, but.
And step increases.
Right.
So their justification, just to reiterate, is that the union contracts are being offered 2%. So does that sway anyone's thoughts on that?
No.
Okay.
Just because we didn't have the best of negotiations doesn't mean we should give that also to the.
If the contracts are negotiated correctly, whether they are done before May, whatever the date is, or after, the budget doesn't get funded, or the contract doesn't get funded, I don't want to say the budget, the contract doesn't get funded until town meeting approves the contract or the ratification of the amounts in the contract. Then and only then does that 2% or whatever is negotiated become part of the budget.
But are we going to fight to say that it shouldn't be funded at that level?
We don't have a say in the contract negotiations, this Board of Selectmen do.
No, but I'm saying to say that to the townspeople as a part of the process of.
It shouldn't be in the budget at all, and then what I'm saying is there should be no, if first of all, there's two different types of COLA, obviously. There's the non-union COLA, and that we have discussed should be nothing this year. Then there's the contract positions, which include not only the unions, but the personal service contracts. Each of those contracts has a stipulation in them by statute that they are subject to appropriation of town meeting, not the other way around. So if town meeting funds it in advance, it's a given. And that's historically what has happened over the last 5 or 6 years. Never used to be that way. I don't remember how that all happened to occur, but that's beside the point. So if there's no COLA in the budget, there's no COLA in the budget. Then if the selectmen opt to negotiate a 2% with anybody, a union or otherwise, it then needs to come back to town meeting at the next town meeting, which would be October. So the salary increases never go through until town meeting approves the authorizes the amount of the agreement. If they don't, which has happened in the past, they don't get it. And it goes back to the drawing board. I mean, that was the discussion we had during the
Right.
February, May, that's exactly what the statute says when we did the reserve fund transfer. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, it's a process that I don't remember ever being followed in my time on the
It hasn't been
committee.
followed in a very long time, I think, since the departure of Mr. Kreidler, because it was Mr. Kreidler's salary, the contract that created the brouhaha at town meeting, because the selectmen had authorized a huge increase, and town meeting said no.
But how do you educate the townspeople without, I guess, as a committee, taking up a position and presenting that and referencing what the
You don't
process
put it
should
in the budget. If there's no COLA in the budget,
be? Well, how do we fund it?
But there's no funding, so.
there's nothing to fund.
So here's the wonderful gray area that we live in. So the Board of Selectmen own the warrant. Okay, so therefore they can put together their own budget, they can put that on the warrant. We're the advisory committee, so there's two things that can happen. One is if we disagree with the Board of Selectmen, we can request their own budget be put on the warrant. They don't have to put it on the warrant. But we can, and then what happens is the one that will be presented to town meeting for their approval is the Board of Selectmen, because they own the warrant. We would have to make motions to reduce each of the budget line items based upon recommendations that we make.
But we could do that.
There's
It'd be relatively unpopular.
well, maybe
Well, it
not.
depends on how you look at it, though.
Yeah, from
Not necessarily.
townspeople's perspective, they think the unions are paid too much, and I'm not taking that side one way or the other. That's just what the talk
Well, I think
is.
there needs to be transparency.
I think what needs to be done, in all due respect to everyone at this table, and memory's short-lived sometimes, and I know they don't like to hear this from me, but the Board of Selectmen know that they are supposed to do it in a certain way. I can guarantee you, having been there. And if they want to put something in the budget for a COLA, so they have the freedom to negotiate, because those are the discussions that are held during the negotiations. Well, we've got the 2% in the budget already, so, that makes it easy. I think it's our responsibility as the advisory committee to town meeting to say, no, that's not the process. You know that the process is you must first do the contract, and then, just like we're saying the library should do, justify it to town meeting.
You're not the advisory.
Well, I know, but we advise the town meeting. I mean, we report to town meeting. I'm using it as a verb or an adjective more than as a name. But
So the process should be, the budget that gets presented doesn't include any of the contract increases, the new contract increases. Those should actually be separate warrant articles for appropriation.
they should be the ones that were just, well, following May's town meeting, the funding was approved in one lump sum package
For the non-union.
for the non-unions.
Yes.
But that lump sum package included 7, I think, contracted employees.
Mhm.
And I know you were attempting
Yeah.
to clarify that for town meeting, and I'm sure that it became one of those that deer in the headlights kind of conversations, because it is.
And that's I'll be honest, that's kind of my frustration with trying, you look at the Herculean effort that would have to go into that, and as much as I believe it's the right process, I honestly, I just can't, I just don't have time
Well,
for it. I mean, it's something that, so if we look at it from a perspective of stripping the newly negotiated contracts and also these reclassifications out of the budget for FY17 that's being presented in the budget article and putting them as separate appropriation articles, that presents your transparency
And that's what is
clarification.
supposed to be done with contracts per town council. And we have had contracts listed in the warrant in the past, union contracts. A couple of years ago, contracts were negotiated after the fact and had to be brought before town meeting in October.
Yeah.
Because they were so far
Like
behind.
you said, last year was an anomaly.
I
where
think
everything was settled before.
I know it would not be a pleasant experience, and that's unfortunate that we all can't just hear each other's viewpoints. I'm not talking about us here, but the discussion, we're going to have a joint meeting with the selectmen. The discussion needs to be had out in the open for them to hear it as well. If they don't like what we have to say, they should be at least respectful of the fact that we have an opinion.
Mhm.
Vice versa, and we certainly listen to what they have to say. But benefit of that is there is a viewing audience for the selectmen's meeting, and if we help educate.
We have Mary.
I know, but we don't have TV audience like the selectmen do. But I think the public tends to learn more from that
Oh,
discussion.
I agree.
And, it's unfortunate, and you've been in the seat and took the wrath, and I've certainly been in the seat and taken the wrath, but the elected officials and appointed officials and their employees should have the respect of at least hearing the position, or the perspective, or the opinion. You've said it to them, I know. I've been there when you did. And it's unfortunate that that doesn't happen. And they don't, this will probably go viral because Pauline's speaking again, and, I know,
Well, I'm
but,
sure some of the stuff I've said tonight will go viral also.
but the point of that
You wanna
is,
join us?
No.
the point of that is, it's unfortunate it has to be done that way rather than come to us and talk to us one-on-one in a public setting.
Yeah.
So, I share that with you, you share it, and so let us take a stand and explain the process that they already know. And
So there is a by-board meeting next week, Tuesday
morning,
afternoon,
how convenient. What time? 4, 5,
5:30.
5:30? Gee,
5:30.
can I sit in the bench in the back?
It's, I think it has to be in the town administrator's office.
Oh, so I'd need a
So-
special invitation.
No, the door will be open.
Oh, that's right, it's an open meeting.
Yes, it is an open meeting. It's posted 5:30 on Tuesday, the 15th.
I won't be here. Aren't you
All
lucky?
right. So, bear with me for a second. All right. So, do we want to, and you ladies tell me, request that the budget presented not include the contracts and the reclassifications, and that that we want those spun out in separate warrant appropriation articles?
Well, whatever ones there are, because there were some reclassifications. We know that the DPW superintendent is a contract. We know that the town engineer is a contract. Those should be separate warrant articles.
Correct.
Excuse me, as with any other contract. So those should be on the warrant in separate appropriation articles.
Okay.
I don't know if there are any other contracts. I don't know why I took my glasses off. I don't know why if there are any other contracts that have been renegotiated since last year's budget.
On the non-unions, I think those are the
Only
only ones I'm
two.
aware of. There's a couple of the union contracts.
So whatever was done at May is over and done with. There's nothing we can do about that.
No, because that rolls into the beginning budget for this year. I think Fire has new contract.
Well, whatever contracts may have
Okay.
been negotiated such that they would be part of this May budget, omnibus budget, then yes, they should be separate warrant articles, and the town administrator knows that. So we should make sure of
Yeah.
that when the draft warrant,
Might be a 2-night session.
it wouldn't be the first two session on a budget
Tough enough
discussion.
time finding one night, which
Yeah, I answered you about availability, you saw that?
Yeah, actually, I talked to the town administrator last night, so I'll just skip ahead to that. So the proposal right now is, so the selectmen had to move their meeting, the week of their meeting because of the primary. And so they're actually scheduled to meet on the Tuesday, the 22nd, but that is the Taste of Neshoba, which I guess a couple of selectmen have tickets for because it wasn't their normal
No,
night. Okay.
some go on an annual basis.
And so they were actually looking to meet on Wednesday, the 22nd, which the big question was, we're scheduled to meet on the 22nd. So I told them we can do the joint session on that night, if that works for everyone.
Tuesday, the 22nd of
No,
March.
the
Wednesday.
Wednesday, the
Wednesday,
23rd.
23rd of March.
7 o'clock. And
Here.
yes, here. From my I would think that would be the only thing that we have to talk about ourselves as a committee. If anything does come up, there may be a reserve fund transfer from the treasurer at that point. We can reconvene in one of the side rooms just to take care of that business. If there's no objections to that.
That works better for me because I couldn't do it Tuesday.
I know you were the difficult one, but I didn't want to say that.
I know I checked the calendar earlier for the 23rd, and that wasn't one of the dates I told you I wasn't
I don't think it
available, was
no.
it? Okay.
Did you say that would be at 7 or earlier?
7.
7, okay.
We could do the reserve fund transfer first, and then the
Yeah, we
selectmen
could
after
agree on
that just do it all in one meeting, but
Yeah.
they can come at 7:15 or whatever.
Okay. Well, that would be their regular meeting for the week also. So they'd have their own full agenda.
Oh, gotcha. So
Yeah.
they're gonna meet, we're gonna meet, and then we're gonna meet together.
Yeah, you're first on the agenda. is
Yeah, we'll
what
be
they
first
said
on the
last
agenda. It'll
time.
be a joint session
Gotcha.
with both of us. We'll go through the budget. We'll make, those.
Hence the need to meet
those
the treasurer
recommendations.
separately.
Yeah, and then afterwards we'll adjourn and we'll move out because there's really nothing pressing other than possible reserve fund transfer.
And if that isn't something that needs to be done next meeting, we
We
can
can-
wait on that.
Yeah, we can wait until the first meeting in
Because my
April.
memory from when she presented the possibility, I had quite a few months to go before.
It has funding. I saw her when I was walking in, the treasurer when I was walking in. She says she has funding through the end of March.
Oh,
So I guess it depends on whether she comes to us before the funding is up or the meeting, which would afterwards, which is the meeting after.
okay.
All right. Okay.
With respect to that reserve fund transfer, information I obtained is that it was an executive session discussion and an agreement with the involved employee, so we may need to get a little more information before we make a decision on funding.
Okay. All right, next item is the capital planning recommendations. I did forward that to everyone. I did not get a chance to print it off to bring here. I didn't really have any issues with, I know they cut it down a little bit from the initial presentation.
That's this document that I couldn't get on
Yeah,
the
I
page.
think I don't know if that's the updated one.
I can't get your date because it's not on either end.
2.63.
Well, no, mine's cut off because I couldn't get it to fit the page. What do you have for a total on, I'll let,
2,2,639,000.
yeah, this is the current one. Do you want to try and look at it?
No, I had looked it over when I received it. I had no problems with it. Anyone have any issues with the recommendations? Okay.
Oh, this has been through the wash a few times, so, that's why we have the capital planning committee.
Yeah,
We have some huge increases coming up.
So.
all right, so next step, so we discussed our joint session, which will be Wednesday, the 23rd, with the Board of Selectmen. We have some follow-up items from tonight's meeting to look at, and then once we get the budget finalized, our first meeting in April will be reviewing the warrant articles themselves and making our recommendations on the warrant articles themselves. And then I think at that point we should hopefully be done and figure out what we want to present to town meeting and go from there.
So we anticipate March 23rd being the last run-through with the selectmen on the budget and finalizing, or maybe one time after
We
that?
could do one time afterwards. We would have that wiggle room, depending on whether there's contention on some of the requests.
When do we anticipate meeting in April?
For just our committee? Probably the normal weeks.
Which would be the 5th?
Let me look at the
The
calendar.
second, is it the first week of the second?
Selectmen meet the 5th of April, and the water and sewer rate public hearing is that night too.
So our first meeting would be the 13th
Oh,
of April.
okay. And the 27th.
Yeah,
13th is okay.
all right,
Not-
13th is
Not
okay
about the
with me.
27th yet.
I don't know about the 27th for myself.
Okay.
So that's where we're at on the overall process. Anything else on the budget, town meeting? No? Okay. Second is conflict of interest. So as I said, there's training. We are not the only committee that is derelict in our duties for this, but options are you can do the training online and then print it off and sign it, or if you do the training online, you can come to this Board of Selectmen's office, and Carla will have print offs for you. Moving along to old business, Devin's questionnaire, just put it on there as a placeholder. Then moving on to the mail, we did receive a new beacon, which has committee starts work on the FY17 budget. And MMA urges legislators to boost Chapter 90 funding. Exciting stuff. That's up for grabs. Our budget, we have $324 remaining in our budget. And actually, here we go. We have spent just under $40,000 from reserve fund transfer so far.
30?
40. 39,783 is our spend so far.
I used to put that in the minutes years and years ago, keep a running tally of what was in the reserve fund.
Yeah.
I'll incorporate that
Okay.
as a running line item in the minutes.
Usually, I mean, when I was clerk, we didn't tap reserve fund transfer until like May.
Yeah.
So and that's when we would start the tally, was in May. Usually we're not this early.
Sorry, can I go back to the conflict of interest training?
Sure.
Not to belabor this, but according to this, you just had to read the 12-page summary and
Yeah.
sign this, that you didn't have to do the online course.
Yeah, sorry.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that.
Yeah.
Because the
That's
course
only
hasn't
needed
changed.
Once every, is it 2
So many
or
years,
6
or
Two or
when they
3
change it, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's 2 years.
okay.
So you
I
just,
wanted
but you have to
Yeah, sorry,
certify
I
every year, I
misspoke.
think.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
just want to make sure that I'm following the
Rules.
and being compliant.
There are some
Uh,
people who never took it before and have now been told they have to take it. They're not happy.
Well, it's my thing. It's not,
It's a good read, though.
It's tedious, but it does have some interesting
just don't like the
elements.
voice.
Oh, God, no.
The 12-page summary is much easier to read.
So moving on to minutes, we have minutes for January 13th and January 20th. I reviewed them. I had no problems. Marion, if you want to take a look, let us know.
I did well to get one on one page.
Nice. Any issues with these?
No? Okay. Then I'll take a motion for approval on both.
I move that we approve the minutes of January 13th and January 20th, 2016, as written.
Seconded.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. 3-0. It's unanimous. Excellent.
think we can make it before 9?
So I push it.
I was kidding. The new thing in meeting is to keep them short. Everybody stands. Can you imagine doing this on
yes,
foot?
standing meeting, yeah. Actually, that would have been good for me tonight, 'cause I'm a little stiff sitting here.
I don't think I'd want to try and
Feel free to
figure
stand
this
up if you want.
stuff out with standing. Oh, no blue pens in the room, huh?
All right, so we did minutes, upcoming business is the 5-year budget model. Once we get the budget finalized, I'll update that, just so we can see our trends going out. Committee updates, nothing for school, capital planning, we have representatives. On executive buy board, we do have a meeting coming up on Tuesday afternoon. And Committee Finance Committee roundtable. Open up to members first. Do you have anything?
I said plenty, but thank you.
Okay. All right. I do just want to bring up one thing, which I thought, I don't know if anyone watches Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
I don't watch TV. I don't have
No.
time anymore.
Okay, so there was,
I'm not up
so he
that
does
late,
like a new,
so-
he does like a news
Go to bed
segment.
at 8 o'clock.
Okay, so he does a news segment, and he did on his Sunday night show. He went through different levels of government. It's kind of like a Daily Show type thing where they look at politics a lot, and they went through all like the different levels of government that you don't even know exist. And I thought it was very funny, and I thought you guys would get a kick out of it. He showed it was Litchfield, New Hampshire Mosquito Control Board meeting, which were 2 people in a room, no one else, and yet they went through the full pomp and circumstance of the meeting protocol, saying the Pledge of Allegiance, calling to order, asking for public input. And he was like, the show, he's making fun of them, and all I'm thinking is, well, I'd probably do the same thing. So when we sit here with Mary as our lone supporter,
You never know who
we're
Fan
not
club
the only
watching.
ones.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there. If you ever do have to think about it, look it up. John Oliver tonight. It's Last Week Tonight. John Oliver. It was.
Pledge of Allegiance, is that a New Hampshire thing?
I think
We
it
don't
is.
say that, yeah.
Well, we do it at town meeting now.
We have
Do
we
I don't
have
remember that.
a committee here in town that pledges the allegiance every meeting. Conservation,
Have for years.
years and years and years. I can
Okay.
tell you, I've been to other towns.
And
That-
they do.
It's very formal,
Mhm.
no frivolity, and
I'm too
So we
tired
need to
by the
step
time
up
we
our
get
game, is that what you're suggesting, Colleen?
I'm not referring to us. I'm referring to some of the other boards that meet, but decorum and I mean,
Okay. All right. I didn't want to go down an avenue on that one. So let's.
keep
Mary,
my
do you
mouth
have
shut.
anything?
No, I think we've already
Okay.
did everything.
All right, next scheduled meeting is March 23rd. This will be the joint session. And with that, I will take a motion to adjourn Finance Committee at 9 o'clock. If you want, I'll take that as a
No.
second. Any further
This
discussion?
Should be no
There being none,
compromising.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. We are